We are live on YouTube. We'll start it up. Hey, if you can you send Kyle a link to our YouTube? He just texted me. Said link to the live show.
Oh yeah.
Maybe I don't know, like if you can just send him our YouTube account. But okay, I'll do our intro.
I don't know if you can.
There should be a way to share our account. All right, we're going. All right. Another Sunday. Whiskey wagers. I'm a little amped up, all right? Please forgive me because I need to share this with some people. And, you know, I've been struggling with it since last night. I'm officially a whore. Yeah, I'm a whore. I hoard out. I hoard out for the podcast, but, you know, I'm never going to say sorry for taking a win. You know, I'm not going to say sorry for taking a win. I do have a guest in the studio. If you're watching the live stream, you can see our guest. I'm going to introduce him in just a minute after I get over the quick horror explanation, because I feel like I owe it to you people to explain my whorish tendencies. So, you know, last night, UFC 241, big fight. I'm a big Nate Diaz fan. We got Diaz versus Pettis. And I got the great idea. Sorry, I'm changing this up. I got the great idea of, it's like, hey, I'm going to put this on Periscope. I'm going to live stream the fight. One, people get to see it. And I didn't even have the intention of like promoting our shit at first. But then once there's like 300 plus people in there, I'm like, holy shit, like this is a good opportunity to promote our show. So I get out the paper, I start writing our show down. And I was like telling people, I don't even care if you listen. I was like, just go rate us and maybe share it. But if you could just hit us with that 5-star, fucking 5-star, that'd be sweet. You know, I'm streaming an $80 fight to you. Give us the 5-star. It took 2 seconds. And a lot of people did it. So if you're like a new listener and you're hearing this and you did that for us, first of all, you're the real MVP. So thank you for doing that, because that shit helps. So, you know, we doubled our reviews. We got a lot of Instagram followers. Twitter grew. And that's that. So that's why I'm a whore. But in today's society, are we not all whores? Are we not all whores? If you had the opportunity, you're gonna go out there and you're gonna jack some dicks off, right, Fada? You're gonna jack some dicks off. You're gonna have just semen running down your fingers, and you're gonna go to the next one and use that as lube.
That's white gold,
baby. You're not even gonna be spitting anymore. You're just gonna be lubing up cum hands, fucking cum fingers.
$20 is $20.
$20 is $20, and hey, fuck paying for followers. We're out here jerking the public off, bro. We're jerking you off.
If you don't know what it is, you can't afford it.
I don't know if I've heard that. Oh yeah. But so if you can see, again, I just needed to explain myself for my whorish tendencies. But hey, we got a guest in the studio. You can actually see us now. So this guy, you know, we've had some friends in, we've had some guests, you know, business owners, and it was actually Zach that recommended our guest come on the show. He's like, hey, you should have this dude on. It'd be funny. He's got a book. So we've got a fucking author on our show. You know, some people have compared him to, like, you know, Jules Verne, H.G. Wells. I'm a big Jules Verne fan. You know, Journey to the Center of the Earth. That's my shit. You know, so that's just some of the comparisons I've heard, and we're gonna get into that shit. But without further ado, our guest, Anthony Michalisko. I hope I said that right. Let's go. You like that introduction, bro?
Oh yeah, I have no idea who any of those.
You don't know who Jules Verne is?
No.
Like Journey of the Time Machine. Maybe around.
I've heard of time machines,
okay,
but
he's like he is an older author. Like, that shit was written in like the 1800s, so I don't blame you. Like, you know, Time Machine, Journey to the Center of the Earth, Around the World in 80 Days. That's some sci-fi stuff.
You know what? If you send me the one title, I'll get on Audible and listen to it.
They're good, dude. They really are actually like good books, though. Have you heard of any?
Not Journey to the Center of Earth, but what was the other one that you just mentioned?
Journey to the Center of Earth, Around the World in 80 Days, Time Machine.
I just don't listen to books that's not read by the author. So
Time Machine's a good book. I mean, just in general, it's a good book.
Yeah. So, you know, hey, we got a comment here real quick. Let me read this. It's one of the dudes from the fights. Eric Owens said, "What's up, bro? Thanks for the fights." Of course, again, appreciate you checking us out. This is the first time we've gone live. We just started. I'm gonna be streaming the next set of fights: UFC 242, September 7th, Khabib Poirier. Yeah, follow me, and you'll get the notification, and you'll get to see those fights for free. And the reason I did that too last night, I really didn't do it with the intention to go back this really quick. I didn't do it with the intention of promoting our shit. I did it because I've had people stream stuff on Periscope for me before when like I was caught up somewhere I couldn't see the fight, and it was useful. I got to watch stuff through Periscope before, and it helps. So I just did that with the intention of doing that. But I want to go back to you, your book. You're an author, you're published it, you're on Amazon, all this and that. So tell us just like a little bit about the book, how it came about, kind of just get into that stuff a little bit, where your idea came from, what the book is, all that good stuff, bro.
Well, not a lot of people have heard the story of how it came about. And really, I'm just one guy who has an idea, and I'm just trying to find a way to make it work. And that's kind of how the book came about. Before I even thought of the book, I needed about $20,000 because there's a social media app that I want to create, and I'm like, well, I got a couple quotes, and $20,000 is the number to get me started out.
That's a like daunting number for just your average person.
Yeah, it is. Like just to get started. So if somebody tells me like, hey, you need $20,000 to start your podcast, I'm not starting the podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like that's daunting.
Yeah,
like you have to be really committed.
Yeah, kudos to you.
So sorry, not to interrupt you, but go on.
Oh no, you're fine. And so I knew how much money I needed to get, and I was thinking of ways how I would come about it. And one day I was thinking, my uncle Jack, who's 73 or 72, he's gonna be mad. He's in his 70s. Sure. He of course doesn't. He's not on Twitter or anything like that, but he's a big Trump fan, and you know. You're not going to get that generation who loves his tweets. You're still not going to get them on Twitter. They're going to use whenever, whether
right, however they consume media.
Yeah. They're not on their cell phones. I can tell you that. So I'm like, I just want to see if anyone out there has taken Trump's tweets and put them in book form. And all I could come up with is a couple books that, President Trump's top 250 tweets.
Right.
And I'm like, no one has just gone through and did the work to put all the tweets in one book. So I hurried up. It was like that was probably the end of 2017. About November is when I came up with the idea. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm working as a laborer outdoor, for the union at this point. And I got laid off. And I came up with that book idea, and I said, you know what? I'm just going to do it. So during my layoff period, I just started compiling the tweets and all that stuff.
Like physically going through Twitter and writing all that shit down.
There's a lot of copying and pasting.
That's what I was wondering. So you didn't have like a piece of software or somebody doing it for you. Like you had to go through manually each tweet and save those, right? Or
that is a daunting task. And I like taking the easiest and
that
efficient way.
So he tweets like 4 or 5 times a day. At least.
I found a computer program that did. So
yeah, works smarter, not harder.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
But I made it all in chronological order, the exact way he wrote it.
Just his timeline, basically.
Yeah, just his tweets. So I didn't do retweets because
right.
that book, you'll see, and I actually brought you guys some books. But
all right.
I'll whip them out now.
Yeah, put them on the website. I'll hold it up for you, bro. Let me see one.
This is 2018, and there's stickers in there for you guys, but that is just 1 year of tweets. So no retweets. If you would put retweets in there,
just strictly his words.
Yeah, strictly his words. And it's all legal to do this because a judge declared that his words were national or record or whatever. Right. So I figured being
so there's no copyright infringements or any weird.
No,
like
it's public knowledge.
Yeah.
So those are your guys' to keep. But
so to go to that point, I don't want to change it up too much, but like this kind of ties into it. I actually heard recently, so Trump had tried to block some people, and the courts said like that's illegal. You can't block people because it's because he's the president, I guess. Do you know anything about that? Yeah, well, that's the ruling that I was speaking of. It made his words public knowledge. Okay. So that ties in with that.
Yeah, and everyone has the right to read what he's saying, because he's the president. It's not like you can't be left in the dark because the president doesn't like you. But it also extends down to other Congress people or other people in governments, like Congress members.
Public figures.
Yeah, and there's actually something. I don't know the exact details. I can't remember. I was just one of those articles you come across and you quickly read.
Reddit thing. That you scroll through.
But there's a Congress person that's actually getting in trouble for blocking someone. So
that's wild.
They could go after Trump and make it all on him, but sometimes it kind of backfires on them. The rules that they set in place for him.
Sure.
So
well, I mean, it's like that changes the game when you think about like the Hillary Clinton thing with the emails and shit like that.
Oh,
if you exist in that world or you live in that facet of our society, everything you do is public at that point.
Yeah,
because you're a civil servant.
Even recently, one of the presidential candidates, one of the Democrat candidates, his brother published the names of a bunch of Trump supporters who donated high dollars.
Right.
In this, I think it's San Antonio area.
Okay.
And he pretty much set it out there for people to dox them, and I mean, it's all public knowledge, but sometimes you're going, I don't like the infighting like that, that gets kind of dirty and can get someone hurt.
It's really like, it puts a stop to progress too, because we focus so much on the bullshit. It was like, I always felt that, I mean, I was kind of young, but when the whole Bill Clinton scandal was going on, and I was like, 10, 12 years old, but I remember thinking like, well, the whole time that the media is covering this guy getting a blowjob, there's like, he's not doing his job. Like you have responsibilities as the leader of the country. And if we're focusing all of this time and resources on whether or not this guy got his dick sucked or not, I don't give a fuck about that.
Yeah.
Going to the blowjob. Okay. You're the president and you have all that power. Who's the first person that you're making give you the suck off?
Not
you don't have
Monica Lewinsky.
You don't have a wife, whatever.
Well,
or if
90s,
you do,
so people were uglier back then.
She's not going to find out. Yeah. She was a little cute chubby chunker. Bill liked the chubby chunkers.
I don't know if I have that much power. I'm going for like the girl from Saved by the Bell. Like I'm aiming way higher. Pam Anderson was big at that time.
You can't get that fucking Hep C though.
Yeah, but I mean, you're the president. Like you have access to anything. That shit's probably cured by this point.
You get whatever Magic Johnson got.
Yeah, imagine. Yeah, you just inject money. That's it.
It's like that Dave Chappelle skit where he's like, "It's a cure for AIDS, bitch." Had it for some 100 years. I don't know, man. I'm trying to think who I'd go for first, and I've still. It must be the Game of Thrones hangover. I might just make Daenerys blow the beach in the Oval Office. Are you a Game of Throner? I don't know.
I've never seen Throne of Games. So
Throne of Games. Yeah, it sounds like it. It's all good, bro. But
at least Trump fucked a porn star. Like that's. I mean, you're borderline paying like the best prostitute at that point, right? Like, so this is someone who's very experienced in their craft. Like, at least he aimed higher. Monica Lewinsky.
Dude, he's banged porn stars forever. So, and hell, you can go. It's awesome because you can go see the first lady's tits.
Oh,
yeah, the internet is the greatest.
Those are those are like you can go see Melania's tits. Just I think she took it she modeled them on the airplane. They look great. Thank you, Melania.
Could you imagine if Melania grew up in today's time with Instagram and stuff like that? Do you think she'd be an Instagram girl?
Show? Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Trump might make her be one just to be like,
fuck,
my bitch is sexy.
Dude, he already taught her how to not pay taxes. Like, she's a leg up on everybody, a literal leg up.
He's not fucking with no fucking fives. He's gonna be banging the tops, dude. I respect.
You mentioned something about Trump and money and all that stuff. I read some today actually about like how Trump he has like 8 goats on his Bedminster golf course or whatever, and he classifies it as a certain portion of that golf course he classifies as a farm, so it's less on taxes or whatever.
Oh, yeah, I mean, like,
that was one of those now this videos I came across.
He's filed bankruptcy a handful of times to get out. I mean, all of it was legal, which, so like, as much as I dislike him as a person and the way, he's just shady, I can't really discredit his ability to work the system.
Well,
those are the rules that are set out for you. Like, if you don't like it, then change the rules, right? Like, those are the laws. It is what it is. Like, so he's being a smart businessman.
But I mean, like in my mind, it's the same equivalent as like
Jeff Bezos. He does it on
Right.
10 times scale. So
I equivocate to like a sports reference. So if you have like the Raiders got caught for targeting players, so they were like paying fines if you injured the other player. Like other than the paying for it, that's just a really shady way to play professional football, right?
Yeah.
It's legal, it's totally fine, but fuck that guy. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of how I feel. I agree with it. If he can exploit the system that way, then we know where the holes are and you know how to plug them.
Yeah, it'd be stupid to know a way to save money and hold yourself back from doing the legal way. You know.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, like even me as a private consumer, if it comes down to like I make $1 million or you make $1 million and I don't know you, get fucked. Like I'm taking that $1 million. I don't care if I mean, I don't know if it would cause you like tremendous setback.
Shut the fuck up.
I don't know. Like I still like a philanthropist at heart, but $1 million that's a whole life change. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean, people are gonna do weird shit for that.
I know. So you mentioned Jeff Bezos real quick. Like, that dude is so powerful that the only thing that's in Jeff Bezos' way is the federal government. So, he bought the Washington Post. He's got property in DC. Could you imagine being so wealthy and so powerful? Okay, he just had his divorce too, and his wife became like one of the top 5 richest people in the world.
And his wife
from the fucking divorce.
Crazy.
Yeah, because he's ugly as sin.
Oh man, he
Dude,
looks.
but
you know
he
how
kind
that
of looks
works.
like a penis.
Yeah,
Just
that's what I was
kinda
gonna say.
got
He looks like an erect dick, dude. He's got a vein. It's bad.
like big triumphant vein.
If he ever gets like some like dried hair gel in his hair, the internet is gonna kill him.
Oh yeah.
Or if he had like, like the butthole chin. What if he had like the butthole head? That would be great. But that dude's so powerful that he has basically. It's pretty well known that like the government's the only thing that can kind of stop or limit him growing even more.
Yeah,
So he bought the Washington Post, the controlling media a little bit,
and
trying to control some of the narrative, things like that. I mean, dude's smart as fuck.
And there's so much information that he has on you just from Amazon. And I have like a love-hate relationship with Jeff Bezos. One, because I make money off of Amazon. But
yeah, I mean that's a huge market.
It's just kind of I don't own any Alexa anything or anything like that. I mean, I do have some Google devices, but you know what? I'd much rather put if you had to choose between like bad and worse, I would choose Google over Amazon because at least Jeff Bezos, he has the creepiness to it.
So you're a believer in that the Alexa is not only like always listening, but it's tracking information on you.
Well, it definitely always is listening because you gotta think that there's with the Google Home or the Alexa Dot or whatever it is over there, the Echo, it's always listening because it's always listening for the keyword.
Right,
so
it's the same as like I heard this described about Facebook's like targeting advertisement.
Mm-hmm.
It's constantly listening to you. The way they described it was it's constantly listening to you. It only filters out the information it needs. But my problem with that is like who dictates what it needs? People at Facebook.
Yeah.
So if
there's
Facebook's
actually people going over it.
Well, like the whole did you watch there's a Netflix documentary called The Great Hack? We talked about it a little bit. It's fucking good.
I'll check it out.
But it basically dictates how they use Facebook to pull private information on the population and then use targeting advertisements to help him win the election. They did it with Brexit too.
Yeah.
That was like where it all started. So but the scary thing about that is like if they can do that and they can put enough propaganda in front of my face that it sways the way I vote and the way I think about my entire existence.
Yeah.
They have a formula to control the entire country at that point.
Yeah. And I don't know if you've seen the video of like the Google after the election. It was one of their like meetings that they have, and there was people, they were all upset. And then there's a couple of Google whistleblowers that have came out and said like they're gonna make sure that Donald Trump does not get reelected. And I'm like, they control a lot of the internet. I mean, people think Google is the internet.
Well, I think we really underestimate how much influence what we see and hear has on everything we do. I mean, what kind of car, even little thing like what kind of car do you buy? What brand of deli meat do you buy? If you see the right advertising, then that's fresh in your mind like that. the human subconscious is just an incredible tool to utilize.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a lot of stuff on Facebook that I've seen an ad on my advertisement.
After
That's where I do
Googled it.
my stickers. I seen it on an ad. It was a great deal, and it worked out, fantastic. So
yeah, there are upsides to that.
But then there's downsides of like the propaganda and stuff you're talking about.
Too.
One of the guys in the chat that's been listening, he mentioned, he said Amazon is Facebook, is Apple, is to Google. They're all working with the government. And I mean, when you get to be like a company that big, you definitely are working with the government in one way or another, whether it's, data related, analytics, who knows what it might be. Most of these companies aren't paying taxes, and I would agree with that sentiment. And you even see so the privacy thing's become a huge issue, like your data, and it's something that you've seen like Apple even try to address on their recent ads. Like, have you guys seen the ads with Apple where it's like the Apple, but it turns into a lock now? Like, that's kind of one of their big marketing campaigns is like, well, Apple's secure.
Well, look at
we're gonna keep your information private. With that shooter that happened out in San Bernardino, California, they wouldn't unlock his iPhone to the government because they said that's against our privacy restrictions. So it's Apple does try to maintain that stance, I would say, but who knows what's really going on? Is this just what they're saying as a part of their public stance, and there's something else going on behind the scenes? I don't know. I bet Edward Snowden would have a lot to say about that.
I mean,
he wrote I have a note about it. He's writing a memoir. Okay. That's about to come out, so that could be huge.
Is that a fancy term for a book?
Yeah, like an autobiography.
No way I'm gonna be able to compete with that.
Right? I think it's like an autobiography of all of the shit that's gone on with his with all the shit that he's been dealing with.
Well, back to the governments and Amazon and Apple and all that stuff. There has been known contracts like Amazon with their web services. They hold CIA. They do the servers for the CIA and other departments of the government.
That makes sense. Why wouldn't the government try to allocate those dollars?
But here's something like the Google. Google. There was a big outrage about them working with the U.S. government on their drone program. And so they stopped doing that, but now they've been working with the Chinese government. So they're anti-Chinese or anti-United States government, but they'll go work with the Chinese government, which is, to me, that's our biggest threat when it comes to all this technology. And
yeah, if I'm running Google, it's the same scenario. Hey, America doesn't want to form this multi-billion-dollar industry, but China's like, hey, you can come do it here, and we'll tax you at half the rate. I'm leaving.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But there's a lot that comes to doing business with China. Like Ford, when Ford goes over there, they have to have a Chinese factory. They have to partner with a Chinese company over there and all that. The only person who didn't have to do that was Tesla, because I don't know, Elon Musk is a pretty smart guy.
Alien.
Probably the nature of his business too. It's all those, like basically everyone but the United States and third world countries is very pro green energy. Yeah, China's like 15 years ahead of us.
Oh, their
like
electric 60%. Vehicle market is huge.
I think China on a whole, I just read this statistic, they're like 60% renewable energy now. So only 40% of the energy that China consumes is through like fossil fuels and stuff like that. That's
but
wild.
Still a dirty shit.
Yeah, you got to think how big China is. Billions. They have 1.5 billion people. So
they needed.
And India's just south there with another billion people. Like that part of the world, man,
you can't breathe.
It's insane. Like, do not take a fucking shower in that Ganges River because you were bathing with dead bodies. Dude, that river's so fucking nasty. I don't know if you guys know much about that.
No,
I don't. They literally throw their dead in there. But it's a sacred river, and it's in India. And people go bathe in this river, and there's fucking dead cows floating. There's trash. There's fucking like heroin needles floating. But it's the sacred river, so you got to go like make a visit and wash your asshole in there.
Oh my!
That reminds me. So my brother from high school and shit, football and shit.
Yeah.
We used to play this game. So we read about this in other countries. Your bubble, your personal space is different. Every culture has a different thing.
So this might be like
right. Like this is weird in America, right? To be too close to
Google that before you go there.
I don't know. That's a good question.
You should.
What's the personal space in Indonesia?
So places like China, because there's so many people, Japan too, because there's so many people, they're accustomed to being crammed in like sardines. So it's not weird to be touching someone like anywhere you go.
Yeah.
So we used to play this game at Walmart. We would wait in line, and you'd see how close you could get to the person in front of you before they like were noticeably uncomfortable. And I remember one time, man, we were checking out and there was this dude in front of me, and he was probably like his late 20s, maybe like about my age now. And I was straight up just breathing on the back of his neck. And this dude was sweating, just like he didn't know what to do. And that happens a lot. Like we have, like weird social stigmas.
Yeah.
I've seen like people go into elevators and face backwards. So everybody's looking at the door and you're looking at the back of the elevator, and people freak the fuck out. That shit just cracked me up.
Yeah, it's like, you can definitely do social experiments like that with people, because there's a lot of people who just won't say a fucking thing, no matter how uncomfortable they get. They're not comfortable enough that they'll say something to you like, "Hey, you're in my space, you're in my wheelhouse, bro. Back the fuck up." So yeah, you can tease some things like that with people. Going back to Trump real quick, I saw this and I wanted to ask you about it since you got the Trump book. Did you see that? This might be a little more a rumor, but did you? Two things I want to talk about. He freed A$AP Rocky, the rapper, who was like ended up getting. No, he did.
I just read something. He's still in Australia or whatever that was.
I thought he was back in the States.
Yeah,
bro.
I think he's back in the United States.
I think he's in the States.
I read something recently.
So I think he was brought back to it was Switzerland, I believe, and he was brought back to the States. But then, like after the fact, A$AP Rocky was like found guilty of battery or something. Mm-hmm. And then the other thing I want to talk about,
that's what it was.
Real quick, after the fact he was convicted, and then Trump has also floated the notion of buying Greenland.
Did you hear about that?
Let's talk about that.
All right.
Because first of all, I'll just give you my 2 cents on that, and then you can go in. So Trump has brought up buying Greenland. I think it would be an amazing purchase because, one, it'd be like similar to like when we purchased Alaska from Russia. There's it could be a strategic purchase in the sense of the North Atlantic, military bases, whatever. But there's also a vast amount of like natural resources there that would be good, and it's freaking huge planet. It's a freaking huge country.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of land. So like, hey man, if I can go to Greenland, be an American, that'd be cool. But obviously I don't think it'll happen. Greenland's actually owned by Denmark, and they said, hey, no, it's not for fucking sale. But talk about that a little bit.
But the first words when you ask for something and they say it's not for sale, is it really not for sale?
Oh, yeah, like everything has a price.
Yeah, I mean,
exactly.
Here's the thing: Denmark or whomever owns it, I think you're right with Denmark. Yeah. They're having financial trouble with it, but I mean, I think it would be a good acquisition. Maybe not a state, because I just don't want to add another star on the flag. It's just
if we're gonna add,
they'd be like Puerto Rico.
If we're gonna add that, then you're gonna have to add like Puerto Rico and some of the other territories.
U.S. Virgin Islands, the Marshall Islands.
I mean, it's kind of crazy that it's not a state because they vote, they serve in our military,
so they just treat it as a territory.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and in Puerto Rico, like they can't. Their congressperson, they have one, but they can't actually vote. It's kind of weird.
Citizens vote, right? The citizens, I'm pretty sure the citizens of Puerto Rico, because I know they do because they vote in like the Democratic primaries and stuff.
I wonder why
which is about to come up as well.
I'd hit that place up. If I was a Democrat, like Pete Buttigieg.
Yeah,
is that how you say his name?
Buttigieg. Yeah, the South Bend mayor.
Yeah,
I don't think people really campaign there much. Obviously, definitely.
If you're mayor of South Bend running for president,
yeah, you didn't know that?
No, I didn't know that. I do know that South Bend has one of the worst drug problems I've ever seen in my whole life.
Well,
so I definitely don't want that guy to be the president.
Yeah, Mayor Pete. I'll give you the cliff notes real quick. So Mayor Pete is the mayor of South Bend, Indiana. He is gay. That's like one of the big things. He's very young. He's like 38 years old.
Oh, okay.
And he's considered to be a pretty competent candidate, but he doesn't have like the big experience. He's just been a mayor. But I think he's held his own in the debates from what I've heard. He's done the run of the mill stuff like that most Democrats do, like whatever for whatever reason you have to go talk to Jesse Jackson. You have to go do that, and
Al Sharpton.
Al Sharpton. That's what I meant. Yeah, you got to go have lunch with him to like get in, put into the forefront of the.
I haven't really
campaign.
heard those two names in the media in a while.
Yeah.
Al Sharpton.
Oh yeah, he has Twitter.
Does he?
Yeah, I follow him.
He's just maybe not light.
I wonder how
it's not as good as OJ.
It's not as good as OJ.
OJ Twitter is the shit.
Oh,
You want to make a book? Make an OJ Twitter, dude. That shit would blow up.
I'd have to ask him, but
Yeah,
I'm not.
Tell him you're
denying
dying to
doing it.
make it. You think it'd be like
I'm not
cutting
gonna
it,
say I'm dying to make it.
cutting edge book. Like
yeah, you don't want to tell OJ you're dying.
He might break into my
I did that on
apartment
purpose. Yeah,
and
you're
try
dying to
getting
make
his
it.
rights back.
Got
or
some
something.
cutting edge ideas. You're really looking to just slice up the
He's
competition.
a businessman. You might be able to corner him.
Yeah, well, OJ's
Juice is
Twitter's killing it. So
It is, dude. That if you go read any of the fucking shit on his tweets, it's always comments like that. Like, like he's so OJ golfs a lot, and you'll see people like, Juice, I got a terrible slice off the tee. Like, I've heard you're the fucking guy to help me correct my slice. Like, you're killing the golf game. Like, it's always something like that with OJ Twitter. It's fucking great comedic relief. If you want to go see something funny, OJ Twitter is where it's at. But like, fuck, man, OJ.
but he did kill those people. So
Oh, dude, 100%.
I'm not saying OJ's a good guy whatsoever.
I've been
but
watching that shit with Cuba Gooding Jr. I'm like, it's so good.
It's really
Have you
good.
seen
The
that?
acting
Nah,
It's
is.
on
No.
Netflix. It's got Ross from Friends.
Yeah.
Plays
What is it called?
Kardashian.
It's called The People vs. O.J. Simpson, but it's actually like very historically accurate. They have a lot of good actors, like you said, like Cuba Gooding Jr. plays O.J. Fucking John Travolta's in it. He plays Rob Kardashian. But I'm glad you started watching it because I really enjoyed it. And there was a lot of stuff. Like I was pretty young when OJ happened. I was like 4 or 5 when that trial was going on. Yeah, so I was 4.
yeah, I still shit my pants. Probably. I was born.
There's a
91.
lot of stuff that I
wasn't shitting my
learned.
pants, I don't think.
There's a lot of stuff that I learned about OJ that I didn't really realize. I mean, obviously we've it's always been that he got off with the murders, but
If the glove does not fit, you must quit.
Jesse, what am I? I'm not Johnny Cochran, dude. He was a genius lawyer, and race at that time was like a really sensitive thing because of the LA riots and Rodney King and things like that. And he was a genius lawyer, man. He really was. He came up with a good plan, and we all know he did it, but court is different. And there's always this quote from like Training Day that stuck with me. And it's very true. It's not what you know, it's what you can prove. And that's so like what court is about. Evidence getting withheld or letting it be admitted into court. Like there's so many things. It's not what you know. Like we know this happened, but it's what you can prove. And then the emotions and things that you can bring up in people. I mean, it ties into politics a lot. Like what are the strings that you can pull at people, the emotions that you can hit to maybe sway a voter. And you should check out that Great Hack thing, man. I think you would really like that,
Yeah,
the Great Hack, because it does talk about a lot of things that we've kind of talked about. But just on any given American, just from Facebook, like you didn't have to do these surveys. If you've had a friend that have done these surveys, it goes in and it fucks your shit up. And and they're saying that on any given person that has a Facebook, there's 5,000 data points on you. Like they know a lot about you, dude.
You lean politically and all that.
Politically, and if you can be swayed. Go ahead.
I just want to make one more OJ thing. Yeah,
for sure.
And then we could get done with that. Yeah, but the Ford's coming out with the Bronco in a couple years. I hope OJ buys a white one.
I read somewhere that there was an undertone of the possibility that Ford was gonna like grant him one, like have him come pick it up as the first one off the assembly line. That's fucking hilarious to me.
They probably they should not do that. Ford, don't do that.
Yeah, that's suicide.
Yeah, bring back Matthew McConaughey or something.
Yeah, anyone but fucking OJ. Getting back to politics, I have this really interesting theory that I have not shared publicly. But so remember when Bush and Cheney got elected? I mean, we were pretty young.
Yeah.
But I remember like it wasn't that long after the election, Dick Cheney had. Okay, well let me preface this. I'm pretty confident he's a clone. Okay, this is my theory. So right after they got elected, he had a massive heart attack and was out of the media for like it was damn near a year, 18 months. You didn't hear shit about Dick Cheney because he was recovering from this heart attack. And then when he comes back from all of this, he starts doing this. He did a bunch of like really weird off the wall foreign policy shit that like it just didn't make sense. Why the fuck is he doing this? Why is he talking to this guy or saying this? And then he shot that fucking guy, right? Remember that everyone remembers when he shot that fucking. So my prevailing theory here is when you clone something, especially like a full grown adult or whatever, the brain develops like it would in utero, but there are ways that you can advance that so that it develops as it's growing, just like we go through puberty, your young adult life. But when you clone something, they can speed that process up. So I think they cloned him and they had to set him loose because people were getting curious. I'm pretty sure he died. The original Cheney is dead, and this new Dick Cheney was cloned, and his frontal lobe of his brain wasn't fully developed, which is what led him to do all of that off the wall crazy shit and shoot that guy. Like he was in, fight or flight because they're hunting and he's pumped up. He's like, oh fuck, and he just shot that guy because he's a clone.
I mean, that's true. Then Gucci Mane's a clone.
Oh,
for sure.
He was locked up in Terre Haute, wasn't he?
He was in Terre Haute, yeah. And he came out of jail like all ripped, 6-pack, fucking shredded and shit.
That's not Gucci Mane. He makes a reference
ice
about
cream
that
cone on his face. Yeah, man. People, if Cheney's a clone, then Gucci Mane is definitely a clone. Gucci's been killing it since 2005. So
Speaking
icy.
Killing it though. That was it. Jeff Epstein. I mean, I think he really was killed.
We talked about that a little bit last week, but let's address that again.
Yeah, because more stuff has dropped.
Yeah, the autopsy report
more than he. Yeah,
the autopsy report came back, and the way his neck broke was more indicative of someone strangling him than of a hanging. There were a lot of red flags with the autopsy.
I don't know. I think it's just weird that everything. I mean, from what I hear, that's a pretty top-notch, secured place. And I understand people get tired and stuff, but for no camera to be working, no one checked on forever.
I read into that.
He had a bunk bed.
I heard about it on like NPR or something this morning. The guards that were guarding him were on their 5th day of consecutive overtime. So that was, and granted, some of this might have just been like they're just blowing these facts out of the water to prove one thing or the other. But supposedly these guys were on their 5th day of consecutive overtime. And someone was supposed to walk by and look at his cell every 30 minutes.
How do you get 5 days of overtime in a 7-day week?
I think what they were saying was like they had worked the maximum. They worked 40 hours and had already worked a consistent another 40 without a break. So they were like on day 14 of their shift, their work week.
Their union's not really helping them out.
No, probably not. They're probably gonna get fucked on that.
They need a new
but then someone was supposed to be walking by his cell every half an hour because he had recently been on suicide watch, and it was a high profile person. Because like El Chapo there's like a bunch of weird people at this like high end criminals, if you will. But allegedly no one had walked past his cell for like 4 hours when he killed himself. So like he had way too big of a window. Like maybe they would have caught it. It's just, there's a lot of red flags.
Yeah. One of our viewers had said, like, imagine being that guy in the cell and you aren't going to get to leave alive. Like, and to that point, like, man, there was so much shit on him that he was going to be fucked forever. Like, you're going to be in there forever, or the only other way out is pretty much what happens. So it's logical. Like, I don't know, man. Suicide's an option, but I do think there's some funky shit going on there for sure. And the big thing for me is like all the dirt he had on the other people, like that you didn't want to get out. Man, I would love to have heard. I mean, there's names from like politicians to businessmen, videotape evidence,
of people. It said like with name and. Just all sorts of videotapes. This whole
so there's like some POV like Bill Clinton banging 13-year-old puss.
Yes, I read something. Bill Clinton like had denied. Really, he's like, I know of him, but I don't really know him. But then they have record of him being on Epstein's private jet like 26 times in the last 5 years.
Yeah, and he said he was only on 4 times.
Yeah,
imagine having to see that POV. That's fucking nasty, bro.
I think you want to watch
some POV. Bill Clinton's out here getting cucked. Or he's cucking people. Hey, right, everybody, let me go ahead and fuck your wife. I'll be right in here. Get out right now. That's crazy. Dude. God, I want to. Is any of that evidence going to get released? Like, still, will it come out in court? Will it come out in court?
Yeah. I think there's like they assign a special like investigation to it or something like that.
Yeah, I read something too, like his estate essentially. Normally when someone dies and they don't have, any relatives or anything or whatever, they just disperse their estate, through however their will is written. And he had a living will, and they're suspending all of that until after this investigation is done because they have to track his money and his valuables.
That's kind of like fucked if you're
buy that though.
Like, no, if you're his kids, like, and what if you had no involvement in it, and is that what like he has children? So like that's your inheritance, and then they're like there's the government statement. So hold on, like I see both sides. Like, he fucking fucked did some really fucked up shit, but it's like to the kids, like if they weren't involved in it, that's their inheritance. I mean, it's a fucking slippery situation, man. There's really no good way to approach that. Cause like I'm thinking if that was me, like if that's my family's fortune, if I didn't have anything, I don't know, man. I don't want to get caught up too much into that, but I'm just always one who doesn't want to give the government too much power to have too much say, and like when they can step in and say like, no, we're gonna fucking put a hold on that because of this and that. Like I always think that's a slippery slope, so I'll always err on the side of give it to the people. Like we don't need to get the government involved in this. It's like when you tap somebody, you know, a little fender bender, and like you're like, hey, we don't need to get the police involved in this. Like I know a guy, we can get your shit fixed up. Let's not put this through insurance. Like, and then when you have to deal with that fuck face that's like, no, we should probably file a police report. Like, fuck, man. Guys ever ran into that situation, by the way? Oh, yeah. You ever tap somebody and tried to be like, let's just fucking take care of this. It's like a little fucking scratch. And the people are like, no, we should call the police. Like, dude, I got weed in my car.
No, I've never ran into that, but I have gotten hit majorly by a car who didn't have insurance. The police didn't do anything. The girl didn't go to jail or anything. But that was in Indianapolis.
I don't think they don't take them that day. They issue her a ticket for driving without insurance. Well, the other thing is I think you have 48 hours to prove proof of insurance.
Yeah.
So they can't really like do anything right at the moment. But yeah, that's funny. I actually am getting ready to start working at Allstate. We were talking about that earlier. I got to take my license exam, so I'm crazy informed on that situation. I was like going through that class and stuff too. It blows my mind. Like when you live in that world or whatever, you think of you just see dollar amounts on everything and risk everywhere, and like it's just wild to think that people. I mean, it's just such a complex world to live in with insurance and shit like that. I mean, look at health insurance. That's a big ticket thing.
One thing that's always been crazy to me is life insurance. And there's some fucking dirty people out there that will do a lot to get that payout on that life insurance. Like, sir, you just took this policy out like 3 weeks ago and now your wife's fucking dead. But that shit happens and it's real. And you get a lot in a life insurance. And I know people try to sell the shit out of life insurance on your side because you get more commission on it. It's a big dollar thing. It makes more money for the firm, and as the salesman, you get higher commission. So everybody wins. But like life insurance is kind of crazy because you're just betting on your fucking life. Like, you know, well, like it's pretty interesting
why they call it life insurance.
It's when bad marketing.
When you die,
it's bad marketing. Isn't it? But you know,
it was false advertising.
Yeah, because what you're gonna call it death insurance? I'm not gonna buy that. That's scary as fuck.
At the same time, yeah, it's hard to say.
Or afterlife.
Maybe insurance. It should be like maybe it should be like. Well, they also have those other ones like accidental death and dismemberment. Like that's not good either. I don't know what you should call it. Like, death. Yeah, it is.
That's like, one thing. Like
old age insurance,
right? My dad died in March, and so you have to go through the funeral and all the shit. Mm-hmm. And the funerals are fucking weird.
And they're expensive.
Yeah, that's the other thing. So like, you know,
there's so much money in dying. Yeah.
Leading up, that's what I'm saying. Leading up to it, like, you know, we met with the people at the funeral home that did everything. And so you pay for the grave, you pay for the headstone, you pay for fucking everything. And I'm sitting there while this guy's, you know, across the table from us trying to sell us their headstone or whatever. And the whole time I'm just sitting there, I'm like, this guy makes his whole living on other people's grief. And that is just such a weird fucking world to live in. And I don't understand cemeteries.
I mean, maybe not to the extreme as they do now. But
well, yeah, that was my thing. That guy just didn't have a lot of tact, and he was like clearly just selling us shit. Mm-hmm. He's like, well, you know, blah blah blah, and giving us this whole like pitch. I'm like, dude, fuck you. Like, I don't want to listen to your sales pitch while we're like trying to bury my dad. That was so fucking weird.
Yeah, that's
just a weird exchange.
That should be the next industry that goes online. Like, you know how Carvana's out there.
Oh yeah,
just killing the dealerships. Yeah. You know, I think you should be able to just order your casket and everything. Amazon Prime.
The thing, like, and I didn't realize this ahead of time.
Do that.
Yeah,
I give out $1 million ideas.
I didn't realize this, but you kind of can. Like, I could go buy my own funeral plot and pay for everything I would need for my funeral ahead of time. Most people don't think like that or have that kind of money, but. It's such a bizarre conversation to have.
So you guys got to do that. Where are you guys burying yourselves? And are you burying yourselves, or are you having your ashes spreaded? So I want to know if you're cremation or you're buried, and then where's your fucking body going?
All
you guys know?
I don't
think about it. Think about it for a minute.
I have no
Where would you
idea
guys
what
do
cemetery because I don't know where I'm gonna live.
Fuck it. I don't even want a cemetery personally because I don't want fucking neighbors, bro. Fucking like I don't need people.
I'm gonna take up space. The last thing I'm gonna do.
You want
is
some real estate?
The last like poke an eye to the world is I'm gonna take up this plot of land, and I would kind of want like my own little mausoleum.
There you go. I like that.
Yeah.
I thought about that. If I ever get buried, I want a goddamn statue.
Oh, I'm gonna be extravagant. Yeah. If I'm paying for it myself, I'm gonna.
And then like, what's even best about that is like if you're just I'm not ripping on you. Just say you're some unknown. Like people don't like you're not a public figure.
Mm-hmm.
Then they're gonna be like, man, who the fuck is this guy taking up all this shit? Like, I want to be that dude. Like, yeah, like fuck, man, who's this asshole taking up? We could put a nice golf course here or something, but his fucking mausoleum's in the way. That's fucking tight. I like that.
I'll give you your next. Like, if you want this whole thing, I just thought about this. When I die, I want a website with a chronological collection. I'm a little drunk. A chronological collection of everything I've put on the internet. Just like, dude,
that goes a lot into the app, the social media app.
Oh yeah, this is something you're developing.
Yeah, okay. Well, soon develop. Sure. I can't code, so I gotta pay for everything. Or if there's any nerds out there who want to get in on the app with me, that contact me.
Hear that, nerds?
AnthonyMichalisko.com. Yeah,
don't be afraid to promote your shit.
Nerd.
What this is for.
Nerds is actually a good term.
It is. Because you know what? I saw this picture one time, and it's this fucking fat dude with this nasty fucking greasy skin and hair, and it's like got this chick, fucking nice, banging young hot chick in a bikini, and it's like it says, show this picture to your daughter so she gets educated and go to school, so she doesn't have to be the fucking dude sucking the greasy cock. Yeah. And then it also said, show this picture to your son when he grows up so he knows to go to school, because you could be like, if you get rich, you can just fucking have some banging fucking greasy cock and just have hot chicks sucking your knob. So whatever.
Kind of like that guy. Is it Always Sunny in Philadelphia with the short guy?
Frank.
Yeah.
I've never seen that.
Danny DeVito.
Like when you were telling, I'd never even seen it, but like that guy, like whenever you were describing it, that's what I thought of.
Yeah, I mean that's a great description. Like like even fatter, nasty Danny DeVito. Yeah, like that's why you should go to school.
The only problem is I don't ever want my own personal webpage to exist while I'm alive. Like I for one have drank my way out of a lot of those memories, the embarrassing shit I did in my 20s. But yeah, when I'm dead, I want people to fucking know what I did.
So you both would have like an actual site with maybe some kind of monument or some statue or something where people can like visit your shit. Yeah. So you want to be visited. See, I think I might be on the opposite spectrum.
I've been anti one of two ways. I either for sure want to be cremated, or I want like a huge fucking grave.
I mean, it's not just gonna be me. It's not gonna be like a shrine or anything. Maybe like my family, like close family members.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think I just want to be fucking discreetly, maybe spread in like the mountains or something. Just whisk my ass off the mountaintop or something. Then there's like no place to like go.
You don't want your homies to smoke your ashes.
I mean, you could.
I just saw,
but I need to be spread somewhere at the same time. Like,
funny you say that.
Don't Keith Richards my entire body. Like, whisk me out a little bit. I don't know.
I just saw a thing last night or this morning, and there's a weed company in Denver. You can send them your relatives or friends cremated ashes, and they'll plant it with a pot plant.
Oh man!
And then they ship you the weed when it's done growing.
That's a little awesome. It's a little sadistic, but it's kind of fucking awesome.
I'll tell you what, if I ever like lose a finger or something, like in an accident, I'm gonna do that and smoke my own finger weed.
Look, if they ever do that, like if Willie Nelson ever just goes through that and publicly auctions his
things, just sell his blood.
Well, I would smoke Willie Nelson. Could you imagine like all those years of marijuana in him?
That's a well-aged.
It's like wine.
It's like he's been like finely marbled with THC. Like there's good marbling on this fucking dude.
Probably smoke his hair right now and get high as shit. It looks smokable.
He recently was an indie too.
Was he?
Yeah,
Oh,
he
yeah,
does.
yeah, yeah,
He
yeah.
does smaller venues, like I've seen him at like the Anderson Casino, but he does smaller venues.
I go see Willie Nelson if I knew
Yeah,
about
for sure.
I
Do you,
would
what
too.
kind of music are you into?
it. I like it all. I mean,
Do you like Tool?
well, all right. So I don't really do rock
Okay,
music or
that's
anything like
fine.
that. But I mean, I do like the big '80s songs that are like you would hear on like Q95 or something.
Sure.
Yeah, I enjoy those songs, but I can't name.
Do you like the Bee
Damn one.
Gees?
I don't know.
70s there. Staying Alive. I was listening to that today. That's why I bring that up. I was playing Staying Alive on the way to the golf course. I was like, it's fucking fire. That and some Stevie Wonder.
It's crazy that you mentioned Bee Gees because I watched this thing recently on Detroit. It's actually on Motown and stuff.
Yeah.
I forget the name of it,
Yeah,
but
Motown. Like,
was it called Motown?
that's what Detroit. Yeah.
Yeah, but there was
There's a band that was Motown as well. But
but there's some on Netflix I watched about it. But it was gruesome back then. I didn't even realize how it was.
What was it about? A little bit.
It was about this. It was one of the groups, you know, and it was just showing. It was kind of like that, The Dirt, but it was just showing.
The Dirt
like,
was awesome.
Yeah, but it was showing like one of those. I don't know if it was the Bee Gees or not. I can't remember. Someone will say what the name is, but
Dude,
it was gruesome.
If we fuck up anything, people text me like a week later, like, bro, you're fucking retarded. It was this. It wasn't that. I'm like, okay, well,
correct us. Hey, man, we're fucking.
See, that's why you need a nerd in here to look it up.
We're drinking. We're having a good time. Like, you know, don't take everything we say for fact.
Yeah, but it was crazy time. If you guys could chose a time to live and doing what profession?
He's asking the questions. I like this.
What would you guys do?
Dude, I want to be like, it's got to be like 80 stockbroker, right? Like Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh, dude,
I want to take Quaaludes and wreck my Lambo. That was a wild world.
Like, it depends. Like, do I have like? It's hard to say. Like, am I just being born into the world with no real knowledge, and I have to learn my way, or do I have knowledge of things that have happened? Like,
all right, no, you know exactly where. Like, at what time would you want to live? Like, what age and what profession would you want to do at that time? Because then there's the rest of your life. So I wouldn't want to get past all the grad school crap. I want to like live in the Great Depression. You know, while I was 3. You know, that's not where I'm going.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's definitely got to be like the 70s, like late 60s, early 70s.
Pop some lewds.
In the music world probably would be my ideal place. But yeah,
George Young cocaine.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I want to go out on a boat with Marilyn Manson for a week. Like,
I would love to go see some of the like all the, because I'm a big fan of like classic rock and all that music, and that was like a great time when like some really historic and iconic music that you still hear today. Yeah. Like, man, shit, you could catch me at Woodstock or something like that. That would have been that'd be pretty awesome. You know, and we still have modern medicine at that time too. So, but like, if I also there's like there's also like the other side of that question where it's like, damn, dude, I would love to go back and see some ancient shit. Like,
oh yeah,
I would like if I could like survive
with
and
all
not
the
be
knowledge
sick.
You already have, like,
if I could survive and not get sick and die from some bullshit like the common cold, like I would love to see ancient Egypt. Yeah, I would like to know how the pyramids happen. I'm super into like the pyramids in Egypt. Like, I would like to personally see like how that shit happened, who planned it, how they actually made it, all that.
Or Rome. That would be
Rome would be cool. Rome would be cool. You could see like
that's probably
fucking Caligula like butt fucking a goat. That'd be awesome, bro.
I don't know. I think
that's what he was known for, was it not? He was like, dude, Caligula was fucking weird motherfucker. He was like into some like. Caligula is the original fucking powerful fucking politician that's out here fucking banging fucking. He was banging kids, you know he was. He's the original. He was out there fucking setting the fucking standard today. Everybody follows. Everybody follows the Caligula
that's
standard.
A good question, and I can't honestly answer this because I've been thinking about it for months. But like, if you had all the money and power in the world, what the fuck would you do? Like, to entertain yourself? I would do some weird shit.
He's banging kids.
I'm not banging kids, but but like Nero was another one. He used to dress up in a bear costume and just maul people on the side of the street. He's fucking untouchable. Like, why not?
I feel like if I was really rich, I'd kind of just go Sim City with everything, like built my own city, like how aren't they doing like the City of the Future out there in like New Mexico or something like that? And it's gonna have Bill Gates.
Who did
they're doing a smart city.
Who did PayPal? Who was that?
Elon Musk was one.
I think it might have been him. They're talking about building an island in international waters called Totalitarian Island. And I read about this like 6 years ago. I haven't heard anything about it since then, but they would just house their employees. So they're in international water, so they still get all the protection of the UN. They're out of United States water, so they don't pay taxes to anyone, but they still get all of the protections of existing in the United Nations. I thought that was pretty interesting. You want to talk about tax evasion?
Make your own country.
Fuck yeah.
Sounds like there's some rapey stuff going on there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but for the right amount of money.
You're gonna go rape somebody, right?
Or
that's you. That's you.
End,
I know that's you. You're gonna be in your bear suit and you're gonna maul a fucking young chick and then you're gonna butt fuck her and leave.
If that's like what goes viral on the internet next,
that's what
I
hits.
fucking give up. Man.
That's what hits.
It's that bear pedophile.
It's that bear pedophile. Jesus,
bear pedophile.
Like we're trying to like be
bare naked would be your like nickname.
Like we like to have a comedy show, but we do like to talk about serious topics too. Like, you know, we're talking about a lot of politics and serious shit, but it would be something fucking stupid like that. Somebody's gonna clip this. This is our first time going YouTube live, and they're gonna be like, "Hey, that's the bear. That's the bear fucking child molester. That guy.
That could be a T-shirt. Yeah,
like that's what
bear fucker.
Hey, bear fucker. Like we don't want to just be known as like the bullshit show. We do have fun, but we do want to talk serious topics at the same time. I want to go back to the politics real quick. So like the Democratic debates and all that shit's going on.
Yeah.
Who do you see coming out on the Democratic side? Do you think it's going to be like a Joe Biden, a Bernie Sanders, some old dude that's been in the system forever? Do you think the Democratic Party might try to do what the GOP did previously, where it's the non-politician that comes like an Andrew Yang or something, and his ideas are pretty out there with like the UBI, the universal basic income. What are your thoughts with the Democratic side and who's going to come out? What do you see going on there?
Well, all right, I see one of two things happening. Personally, I like that. This is what I hope would happen is that Marianne, I can't remember her last name. I want to say it's not Webster, but it starts with a W.
Mm-hmm. Williamson or something like that.
There you go, Williamson. Yeah. So Marianne Williamson, who's that? Like she's an author plus like a spiritual coach or whatever. I would love for her to win it, and she does have a huge following, so it's not out of the way. But she's kind of out there. But I would love a debate between her and Donald Trump. But I see
so contrasting.
Yeah.
Trump debating anybody I want to watch just because it's so fucking interesting to me, dude. Like,
I wish they would all get a chance. Like, I think, like, I hope Fox News or someone would just do where all 24 of them can debate Donald Trump just 1v1 every single time. You know, just
fucking wild.
It'd be a whole month.
Wrong.
Wrong.
No.
Pocahontas.
You're fired.
I don't know.
That's offensive to Pocahontas.
I think like what would be if I was like the Democratic advisor or chairman of the party, I would try to do what the GOP did previously and maybe get an outsider, because I think people are tired of like the typical politician.
Yeah, they're gonna play it safe.
I think that would be just a terrible decision for them if they do want to win, because I know they're just like anybody.
Joe Biden.
They're anybody but Trump.
But they tried that.
Biden would be terrible.
They essentially did a soft trial with Hillary Clinton because she was a woman, which it sounds absurd to say out loud, but that was like their out man.
They went all in with her, but I think there's the second option, which I actually think is going to happen. Is during this time, all these people, they all have the same ideas and all that, so no one really stands out unless you're weird like Marianne
or Bernie Sanders, who has existing PR.
Bernie Sanders, you know, he's just the same. He's literally used the same logo from last run, you know. But Elizabeth Warren has taken a lot of his points, you know. So, but she's like the same thing as Bernie Sanders. Right. They all believe in the same thing.
It's hard to distinguish.
Yeah, I think he just has a following already.
I don't think it'll happen, but like I do see it. Like if somebody was maybe like Andrew Yang, who like he's like not wearing the tie, he's the outsider dude. He has some like really extreme ideas with like I don't know if it's really extreme. I maybe shouldn't say like that, but like I think that universal basic income, like that's kind of like his big big platform, and I don't think that's going to do it for you.
No,
like,
I don't think
you're not going to get
that.
people to sign on with giving everybody in America $1,000. Like, people already have a problem with quote unquote handouts now as is, and there's no way you're going to get everybody to agree to we should give everybody $1,000 just because you're an American.
Talk about inflation.
Yeah,
right. Like, everything else would just increase in price, right?
I want another stimulus package. That's really what I want.
But what I think will actually happen is
I got a stimulus package for you.
Everyone will pretty much be the same, and I think over time, someone like a Michael Bloomberg will see, because it's not too late to hop in. There's debates going on, but I think if they were smart, Michael Bloomberg would jump in, and then he'll end up winning, because everyone right now has gone too far left for, you have to be like a progressive now to like all the stuff that the Democratic candidates are doing, or a lot of them will vote for Donald Trump.
So. Well, yeah, I mean, I think that was like the big issue when Hillary ran. It was like, I don't like Donald Trump, but I definitely don't agree with everything she's saying either.
Oh, yeah.
And so I think
it was the decision of two evils.
I think she
generally people said.
I think she campaigned really poorly too. I think she could have beaten him. She campaigned differently. Like, I mean, she didn't do a lot of shit though. That was the thing. I think she thought, well, this is a wrap. I'm gonna win because he's fucking retarded. And then it was like, oh well, maybe he's not dumb. I also think that the whole the antics and everything going over he goes overboard with everything. I think that's a play to disrupt attention from the shit that he's actually getting accomplished. I mean, if you look at it, he's pushed a lot of shit through that was maybe on the edge, not everyone necessarily agreed with it, but they were focused on the bullshit he was tweeting.
Oh yeah.
And then he passed a bunch of policies. Yeah. I mean, I definitely think he's a businessman through and through, and smoke and mirrors is the name of the game.
Well, you can go on to his website, and he has a whole list of everything that he has accomplished, and you can actually go and look it up.
Yeah.
It's just they don't want to talk about that stuff, because if they talk about what he tweeted about, or it was leaked about the whole Greenland thing about him buying it. He had mentioned it one time, which it would be a good accusation. Like you were saying about
resources.
Resources, and it's a good strategic point against Russia. Exactly. Yeah, and plus with global warming, the ice and stuff will be breaking up there.
Sure.
Which new passages,
new fishing lanes.
So and oil and
I saw somewhat recently too that the United States actually withdrew from the Cold War treaty.
Yeah.
So we're back at war.
Well, Russia never signed that, so
I think there was a Cold War treaty.
They haven't been listening to it. They signed on to it, but they weren't listening to it.
Yeah, they might have they might have.
Russia just got caught testing nuclear missiles too.
So we're I haven't heard. I'm sure. Yeah, I mean, with North Korea and all that, there's definitely some. I'm sure they're encouraging North Korea, hey, don't listen to that. Go ahead, test your missiles.
North Korea is like that. That's a whole. There's so many flashpoints around the world right now. But North Korea is one of them that I think Donald Trump is actually doing pretty good, because
open the line of communication.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but I mean, if it takes
nobody ever had that conversation.
Yeah,
and just to have a diplomatic relationship is a step forward.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna say North Korea is gonna all end up hunky dory and stuff.
Sure. You can't,
but it feels better than it did.
It's either gonna be hunky dory or war, one of the two.
Yeah, I mean, along the DMZ with South Korea right there, and you have thousands of American soldiers. It doesn't feel as tense as it once did. There's somewhat of like I said, those diplomatic relationships. So there's an attempt at a better understanding of both sides. But we got our prisoners back. Those were all great things. So that shows a willingness to work.
I think the flip side of that, though, too, is does it feel better because it feels better in the media, or because it's actually getting better? Because there's a lot like what we were saying, where you can go on his website and look up everything Donald Trump's done. The average American is not going to take the time to go fucking do that. They're going to look at the shit he's tweeting, or they're going to or they never even heard about it, or they're going to watch Fox News or CNN and see all this shit. So a lot of public opinion is so perversely, subject to what they're not informed consumers of information. So they're just eating all this bullshit and fake news. And you can't even tell what's fake news anymore and what's real, because they're just overloading you with so much shit that it's hard to tell, do I really feel good about the way North Korea is going? Well, based on the media, yeah, I fucking love the way things are going. Now, the truth is maybe that's not, as black and white as it seems.
Yeah. See, the thing that I would be interested to find out is all the underlying stuff to everything that's happening right now. There's the surface stuff you get, and then you can do a little digging and you can get, just a scratch of the stuff. But there's stuff that we don't even have any idea about.
Fucking clue.
And that's what I want to find out, So
well, and I like the whole Area 51 thing was really fucking stupid, and God forbid if anyone actually does that. Yeah, it's in September 21st or something like that. But I like the exposure that there are enough people willing to sign up for a cause, no matter how ridiculous it is, to expose truth.
Isn't it crazy that a ridiculous thing like that gets more exposure than, I don't know, like.
Yeah, but not that many people vote.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
like go vote.
It's like we can try to like make a legitimate, cool podcast as much as we want. We'll never fucking get that many page likes. Like we're trying to like actually do like create some content. Stay engaged with people. Fucking doing a weekly show. We do a show.
Fucking greasy cock doing a Naruto run down the sidewalk.
Fucking greasy fucking cock. You fucking greasy cock. You fucking Naruto running motherfucker. The fucking news came out and interviewed that fucking greasy cock. You fucking greasy cock. Anthony, you're an amateur, bro. You're an amateur. I'm just teasing, man. It's been really good. It's been really good so far. We've actually not done like a political show at all yet. Like we just haven't talked politics at all, but it's something that should be addressed. Especially at this time of year. Yeah, it's just something a lot of people don't know about. And you having a book with all the tweets, and obviously you're very engaged with politics. It's been good for our show. To have you come in here and be able to just talk politics with somebody, and to stay on the politics. There's one other thing I want to talk about a little briefly before we do wrap this up, because we've gone over an hour. We usually do hour and 20-minute show. That's just what we generally do, because we don't want to go too long. People can't stay engaged that long. But I want to talk a little bit about like Joe Rogan and what he's done. So he's interviewed like candidates, and there's like a petition going around. I think like it's had over 100,000 signatures for Joe Rogan to like interview all the presidential candidates, because
like
it's
a debate.
Yeah, he was going to be a host for the debate.
Well, that
of the debates.
It might be like that, but
that was what the Facebook campaign
what my understanding was, it was for him to just I thought there was something going with him to just interview each candidate in an open format like this, and because his podcast where it's
he had Bernie Sanders on it, 7.5 million in 2 days.
He could have all those people, including Donald Trump, on his podcast. That's as raw as it gets.
Yeah.
I don't want to listen to him, read previously annotated questions.
Yeah, it's because it's an open format. There's no commercials. It's not edited. It's raw. So there's been like that petition for him to interview each candidate, because like you said, he did Bernie Sanders. He actually did Andrew Yang. He did Gabby Tolserd. He's done several of the Democratic candidates, and I watched a lot of those because I like Joe Rogan's show. I just like
that's a good
podcasts in general. Like I consume tons of different podcasts, like for my own ideas and just because I like different shows. But I think that like Joe could really truly actually be onto something, and like a new way of dissecting candidates and politics in that
more our age engaged.
Yeah, it would definitely get a younger crowd more engaged, because they already like Joe Rogan, they like a show. But do you have any thoughts on like on that, or maybe the current system of how it's set up in the debate? I'm not a fan of that, because it's hard to get, you watch those interviews where he has Bernie Sanders, and like there's over an hour's worth of ideas, and that's just one guy. And you're trying to cram that into a debate with 20 other people on that stage right now, and you're trying to cram all their ideas into a 2-hour segment. It just doesn't work. So I think I think he could really truly be onto something with that. So what are your thoughts on debates and all that?
Yeah, well, I think that really the future of how we consume and all that stuff, that's changing, because right now, and in the past, you would go to TV and that's how you would consume your media. Right. Now there's so many ways you can cast apps in and all that. Yeah, YouTube and all that. And I think there's a bunch of people, Joe Rogan's one of them, who's becoming big, where a lot of people are watching. And I think, over time, just it would be good for candidates to hit up shows like his. But another one who's doing it is I think it's the Breakfast Club. They're having Kamala Harris and
even
like
H3.
Yeah,
there's and that does
more of those people
that
will emerge,
goes to a particular audience, a younger audience. But you know, as like baby boomers get older and our generation comes into focus, and I could see that being like the way. Like I think Joe's a major trailblazer in that sense.
Oh,
like people
he's gonna be huge.
give him enough credit in that, like just the pull he has. Like Joe's a major trailblazer in the things he's done, and he could be changing the game in that sense.
I mean, you have to think about, you know, if I'm a Bernie Sanders or some of these other people, you're selling yourself, right? You're marketing you. So there's a lot of parallels. I know, like for me, like I run our social media and stuff, and that's really how we market the podcast, especially. And so, I mean, like there has to be a lot of parallels in the way that they campaign that way to some extent. They have to get on that level, because eventually people like us I don't watch the news every night. You know what I mean? I don't give a shit about local news is garbage to me, but it's just got fucking so boring, and it's not real journalism anymore. But those people eventually that has to be the mainstream way to do that. Especially, I'm telling that documentary explains it really well, but that's how Trump ran his campaign. It was through Twitter, it was through Facebook, it was through Instagram. And so he got a lot of these weird votes that you wouldn't normally do. But I think a lot of that is just marketing yourself in a circle that you don't normally run in. Like I know we do that, you know, through different avenues, but if you only talk to the people that know who you are, you never get any more exposure.
Yeah,
so I think that's interesting.
Yeah, but I do think it's kind of funny how I love elections, because it's where politicians will do stupid things. Like you know, I think it was Kamala Harris that was doing bingo out there in Iowa or wherever.
Old lady who's like, "Don't take our health care."
Yeah,
I saw that.
Yeah. So I mean, it's where they kind of degrade themselves. Like think about Mitt Romney. You know, when he went shopping. Yeah, when he went shopping, grocery shopping, and all that stuff. Shit, like you could tell he's never done it. Don't try changing who you are. Like Donald Trump went out there and said, "Hey, I have a huge jet filled with gold." Okay, you know, so
my favorite one was Sarah Palin when she went to the turkey farm and they cut that fucking turkey's head off on television, and she was standing there like, "Yeah, that's how they do it." Oh my god, that was one of the best ones ever.
Oh yeah, and then Beto O'Rourke, he does the stupidest stuff like trimming his nose hair or whatever it was. Has
HBO did that whole documentary on him.
Dude, that's how you do
followed him forever.
Yeah, but
I love elections too, dude. They're great. Like debates are my favorite.
You were at Ted Cruz's thing.
I went to see it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was speeding. I just went. You guys were speeding past me. And
no shit.
Yeah, on 40
I went
right
to see it just to be involved. I didn't vote for Ted Cruz.
No, me neither.
I just was like, I'd like to see this because that was like the Donald Trump times, and it was right down the road. And like I am like, people probably don't know, but I am like a lot more engaged in politics like than you would ever realize. Like I do follow a lot of these things. I do read about it.
But it's weird because most people our age don't.
I do. And like I don't talk about it. I don't need to talk about it. I keep that stuff to myself, but I do stay engaged with it. And especially during elections, like you said, like elections, and like I fucking love debates, dude. Like I don't like I won't miss a debate. Like I like to watch them. I like just the psychology of debating itself is interesting. I mean, it doesn't even have to be about politics, like just like how you it's almost like sports and athletics to me, like how you go against your opponent. It's just so strategic. It's a chess match, like how you're gonna capture their king and set up these moves to do that. It's fucking super interesting to me.
Yeah, it is. And then you got like win this area, and then like, you know, this is the issues these people care about and all that. And I mean, it's just so in depth and stuff like that. You can nerd out on it just like sports people do with fantasy football and stuff, which is like foreign languages to me.
I follow a lot of like gerrymandering is really interesting to me.
Yeah.
So I've done a lot of looking into that, and that shit is wild. But like you're saying, like, you know, well, people in Idaho don't give a shit about surfing, so don't fuck talk about surfing. You know, It's weird. It's
one of
weird
the
how complex that
people
is.
in the chat. He said, "I got hot sauce in my purse." Like,
Oh,
remember when
Hillary
Hillary Clinton
Clinton, yeah.
would be on the debate, and,
And-
she'd be in the black voters areas, and she'd say, "I got hot sauce in my purse." Like,
and they changed the way they talk.
So, yeah, she would change the way.
Yeah.
That was like that dude. Like, so many. You can see right through that fucking shit. It's
my
so
favorite
funny
person-
though how they sell themselves like that.
My favorite person to watch is AOC. Because she's like roughly our age or whatever. She's your age actually, and like she went to go speak in front of a majority black audience, and she goes, I forget exactly what she says, but she put a twang on it, and I'm like, no, you don't
change her whole. Fucking,
oh yeah. And it's just like I can't
with
believe
some
you just,
ebonics.
yeah. I mean, it's just not. I'm just always going to be me. I'm not going to change. Who I am, because in a day where like video is there. It's not like
Right,
back
everybody
in the 50s. You
knows.
could kind of get past that.
For anybody that wants to purchase your book, know about your book, where can they find that?
Yeah, you can get them on Amazon right now. You can type in Trump tweets on Amazon and find them, or type in my name, or go to anthonymichalisko.com.
Give out you got any other social media, Facebook stuff? Promote all your stuff right now, bro.
Real Michalisko on Twitter. I'm on Parler. Just type in my name, Facebook, and then also I'll be going on a book tour in the next year. I'm gonna go to all the Trump rallies, and I'm gonna bring like 1,000 books and
set up like a booth and shit. Yeah, that's cool as fuck.
And then also Riley Days in Greenfield, Indiana.
Nice.
So I'm gonna booth there. So come by and buy.
If anybody wants to buy like your merchandise, where can they get that
at? On anthonymichalisko.com, but it's not up yet. So
soon.
But yeah, coming soon. I'm gonna have a whole bunch of merchandise, stickers, lapel pins, T-shirts, and also my books. So.
Hey man, it was a really good show.
Yeah, thanks
today. We appreciate you having it, and like we enjoyed talking politics. Like to the people that viewed on YouTube Live, I know Eric Owen stayed in the whole time. We appreciate that, bro. And he was one of the guys from like the fight stream, so that was really cool. Stayed in. It was nice to finally like get the webcams, because I think it's important that people see us do the podcast, not only hear us do the podcast. We got some guests upcoming. Fada, can you want to remind us about the guests that we got coming up?
Yeah, next week we are doing a show with another podcast group called Thunderwolf. It's Shane Jones, if you remember him. He's a little older than you. I can't remember who his co-host is. And then we have September 1st, if all goes according to plan. There's some things up in the air, but Lisa Sears is a local comedian. She just had a documentary about her made. And she was on this week's episode of Baskets on FX with Zach Galifianakis and all those people. So that's kind of cool for us. And then Tony Foxworthy is another local comedian that we'll be having on here in the near future. So some good big names, cool people to look forward to. I'm excited about all of those.
All right, guys, everybody check out Anthony's stuff. Check his website out. Check the book out. And support people that are doing their thing. That's what we try to do. We try to give people a chance. So go support everything. Thanks for watching again. Whiskey Wagers is out. Let's go next Sunday.
This thing's fucking cool.
Yeah, it's.
I didn't realize it was this hefty.
Oh, it's hefty. It's like 2 pounds or whatever shipping weight.
It's not even like you spread it out to make it more pages or anything. This is full of.
Yeah,
It's